There's rumors swirling around the Charm City right now about Diontae Johnson and his possible release from the team. John Harbaugh had a lot of interesting things to say in yesterday's press conference talking about Sunday's game against the Eagles. Welcome into Ravens Rundown, everybody. We're going to go over everything surrounding Diontae Johnson and his possible release before the bye week coming up. But before we dive into any of that, I got to let you guys know we will be live for my first ever midweek live show today, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the channel. We'll be live for about an hour going over news, rumors, any updates, analysis. Also have a live mailbag. If any of you guys have questions you want to ask me, get on the show, then come hang out, join us. It's going to be a blast. Again, first one of the season. Really excited to be it right here on the channel. So come hang out with us later today. So John Harbaugh had some very interesting comments when asked about Diontae Johnson in his Monday press conference. And I don't know if you guys realize this. In real time, I talked about it a little bit on the watch party, but Diontae Johnson didn't play a single snap against Philadelphia. He was asked about it in his Monday press conference and about Diontae Johnson's future with the team. John Harbaugh said, like I said, we'll just work it out. See where we're at over the next few days and this week. Guys, if this is true, when he was asked about if Diontae Johnson is going to be on this team at the Giants game at the end of this bye week, and he had that to say, if that's true, then this is a massive failure. And yes, I know you didn't pay a ton for a guy like Diontae Johnson, right? You only gave up We'll go over the trade in just a little bit. Not that much to get him, but the fact you got him in here and through only 5 games, he's given you almost absolutely nothing, that was a massive failure. And the fact that you didn't go out and make a bigger splash in this wide receiver room, that was a bigger failure. This is a miss if he's not on this team come Sunday. Plain and simple. What do you think should happen? Do you think that the Ravens should cut Diontae Johnson, okay? If you think yes, go ahead and give me a Y down in the comment section. And if you think no, give me an N. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's YouTube video. YouTube is about to throw you an ad break. And when that time comes, take advantage of it. Find this pinned comment and give me a yes or a no. Let's look back at the trade. It was made the week right prior to the trade deadline, if I can remember correctly. I believe it was made on the Wednesday or maybe the Thursday. I think it was a Wednesday right before the trade deadline was happening, okay? So Ravens receive a 2025 6th-round pick, a 2026 6th-round pick, and of course, they get Diontae Johnson as well. The Panthers, what you gave up for him to Carolina was a 2025 5th-round pick, okay? Now let's just check in and do a little check and see how his time in Baltimore has gone so far. And I'm going to warn you, you might want to shield your eyes for this one. 5 games played, 5 targets, 1 reception, 6 yards. We can count every single one of those statistics on 2 hands. We can count 3 out of the 4 of those on 1 hand. 5 games played, 5 targets, 1 reception, 6 yards. Absolutely ridiculous. And in my opinion, it just doesn't make any sense. If you look at the snap counts, okay, those first 2 weeks, those are kind of 2 weeks where you're like, okay, I kind of get it, right? He's new to this team. Lamar Jackson was hurt, so he wasn't necessarily practicing for the entirety of those weeks as well. So you're like, okay, new team. He was coming off an injury as well in Carolina. And those are kind of all the excuses that you make for yourself, that you make for the guy. And when you kind of talk about him not being a part of this team. But then when you look past that and you look at Pittsburgh, Los Angeles, and Philly, and he goes 6 snaps, 4 snaps, and 0 snaps in those 3 games, that's kind of when you start to scratch your head and you kind of start to ask, okay, this seems like a failed experiment. And you know that just 5 weeks into it. And the thing about this is, and I'm going to go into this in a little bit of further detail, I don't get why this is a failed experiment. You got Nelson Agholor. He goes 40 snaps on Sunday against Philadelphia. And Johnson gets none? You're looking me in the eyes and you're telling me that Nelson Aguilar is far and away a better receiver than Diontae Johnson, even through the 2 drops against Philadelphia, 2 crucial drops against Philadelphia. I don't believe you. This seems like there is bigger things involved, okay? It just what a miss by this front office, if true though. What a miss if it's truly because of his performance, okay? If it's 100% performance-based and it has nothing to do with any other outlying circumstances, I mean, you just got to look at this and you just got to say you whiffed. The count was 3-2. It was the bottom of the 9th. You had bases loaded and you just struck out. That's what it's kind of starting to seem like right now. I got more to talk about in the Diontae Johnson saga of this whole thing of the past couple weeks. Before I talk about any of that, I got to give a major shout out to the sponsor of today's video, and that is our friends over at Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats at the lowest prices, guaranteed. It's the only place I go for any college football or NFL tickets. Game Time has a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks. That makes getting tickets to your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. The tool highlights the best deals, including great and amazing deals, which are the highest value seats at the time. For some events, Game Time Picks also identifies a super deal, which is the best seat value in the venue. There's so many things that I love about Game Time. I love the last-minute tickets and flash deals. I love the views from your seat, but I gotta say, my favorite part, bar none, is the lowest price guaranteed. I'm someone who likes to, I like to call myself a little bit frugal. I like a deal every now and then, and that's exactly why I use Game Time. They make sure I'm getting the most bang for my buck, so there's nowhere else I would rather go to get any of my ticketing needs. So head on over to GameTime.com, use promo code ChatSports, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. So my question I'm asking, okay, when I'm looking at the whole Diontae Johnson saga, if you want to call it that, is why is this such a big problem? Why is he not getting out on the field? Why is he not getting the ball if he ever is out of the field? Because if you look at his career so far, or not his career, his season that started in Carolina, he played 7 games, had 57 targets, 30 receptions, 357 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Now, is that a stat sheet that is going to blow you off the page, get you first ballot Hall of Fame numbers, and do all of that stuff? No, it's not. But it's good enough, especially with the quarterback and the offense that they had in Carolina, to make you ask the question, why is he only getting, 5 targets in 5 games? Why does he only have 1 reception in 5 games? Why didn't he play any snaps against Philadelphia? Because in that game against Philadelphia, there was 1 wide receiver catch in the entire second half. You think I'm lying? You think I'm being exaggerative? You think I'm not telling the truth? Go back, watch the film. If you don't want to watch the film, go back, look at the ESPN play-by-play. 1 wide receiver catch, and it was Tylan Wallace, and it was 2 yards. Okay? And so, for whatever reason, and I'm not going to complain too much about this because I know this team is a run the football first identity. And I know they're getting Derrick Henry a lot of carries. But you're only completing 1 wide receiver catch in the second half? That's absolutely ridiculous. And because of that, if I'm being honest, guys, if I'm just shooting you straight, this kind of sounds like it's a little bit of a coaching issue. Okay? I talked about it on Sunday night's video and my instant reaction. To me, it just didn't seem like there were many mid-game adjustments made by this coaching staff. It seems like Vic Fangio made them over in Philadelphia. It seems like Kellen Moore made them over in Philadelphia. But it seems like Todd Monk and John Harbaugh, they just kind of sat on their hands and didn't do much. They had a game plan going into it, and they were going to stick through it the entire way. And that's why you had wide receivers not having much success. And if you got a guy like Diontae Johnson, who again, he's not going to be a Hall of Famer. He's not going to be a guy who's going to catch for 1,000 yards ever for the rest of his career, in my opinion. But I think he's a guy that can help you out. And I think he's a guy that deserves more than 0 snaps. So something's not clicking. Something is not going right with him in regards to this franchise, in regards to this team. So I have a question. I want you to call it for me. What is the % chance that he's on this roster by the Giants game? As of right now, 12 days until that game. Of course, you got the bye week coming up this upcoming Sunday. What's the % chance he's on that roster? I want you to give it for me in the comment section down below. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. We will be live later today at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're still watching this video at the very end, you're a real one. Thanks so much for tuning in. Actually, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope to see you guys later, and we'll see you tomorrow.